computer. All right, so I'm in Photopea. I have a couple of basic layers um, put into my workstation. I am modeling my own movie poster after American Horror Story. Sarah Paulson, she's from St. Pete, so I connect with her. Um, so we have her. We have our background. If I hide her with our little eyeball icon, you can see that I've chosen this background and it's high resolution, as well as I have some text here. And it's like really not cohesive at this point in time. There's not really anything that's tying this together because our picture is like a different light than our background, and our font just kind of gets lost in it a little bit. So the purpose of today looking at layer effects and layer styles is to enhance your work that way, make things feel a little bit more unified. So the first thing that I'm noticing is my background is just taking up so much of my image, and it's really just starting to get lost. I can't tell. There's like a haunted house to the right side, but I really don't see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and shrink this a bit. I'm still keeping in mind there's like this nice negative space in the tree that I could use to my advantage to put Sarah Paulson's head. And for us, a lot of our images are also not the full width of the paper, not the full height of it. And in that case, what I would suggest is either using the clone stamp or the healing brush tool to extend it further downwards. I'm also gonna just use my brush real quick to go in and feather out my edges. You can just have a seat. So I'm gonna go in and just, whoops, let's turn the hardness of our brush down to do so. And I'm just gonna feather out my edges here. This way it will start to blend a little bit better. And I could go in and burn some of this grass to make that darker as well. Again, going for a unified, cohesive style. So when I am looking at my layer effects first, these are right above your layers panel. And I'm just burning that grass real quick. Your layer effects are right above your layers panel. These right here will basically affect how pixels are put into your image. So my picture of Sarah Paulson is really bright right now, but I could go to multiply, for example, and instantly it blends it into my picture. One suggestion I would have is to get your mask all set first. So for example, I still have all the background visible in this. So I would want to go ahead and use my layer mask appropriately to hide the things that I don't need. You would be using the refine edge tool more often than not in this situation to select the hair appropriately, but I'm just going through this really quick for us. All right, and instantly now I have my my Sarah Paulson that is blending in with my background much better than before. There are still some harsh edges that I could go through and tone down with my layer mask, but that's the idea there. Now this is under the multiply effect. So I've gone in and I've changed from normal to multiply. But you could also look at the different effects like darken, for example, really just kind of scroll through and see what's working out well. Some of them might be really great for making a specialty effect, while some of them really you're finding like, okay, I don't even know when I would use that. And it's really okay to feel that way. Now, what I also suggest to you, and this is getting a little bit more advanced with the layers, is that you can have, like, I have soft light. This one this one is affecting my layer, but I can duplicate this layer at the same time. And I'm trying to remember my duplicate hotkey because I actually don't have the right click availability here. Looks like I got it. And you can have multiple layer styles going on. So for example, I have two that are soft light now. So you see that it's making it much, I guess, brighter. There's a bit more contrast there. But I could set this back to normal. And then I could, for example, if I wanted the eyes to be fully intact, then I could go into my layer mask and I could get rid of everything that I want to be as my layer effect is. So for example, I'm going through, I'm just erasing on the parts that I wanted to be like that first layer effect style. And now we have the eyes in focus. And of course, it looks like they went away a little bit, so I could take my white to bring them back out, same way as our work has gone so far. Now, the other thing I wanted to review with us today was our layer styles. So this is when you double click on a layer. And the thing that this does is it doesn't necessarily change how your layer is blending into your image, but it changes like the outsides of that layer. So for example, in my text down here, AHS, everything about 2020, it's kind of getting lost. So I've double clicked on that layer. I have my T here. This is the text. So it's still saying that it's editable text. If I wanted to change my title, I still could. But I can experiment with these settings. For example, color overlay. And now suddenly I have the ability to change that color. I can even like drop a color from the image. That's looking good. And you can do certain effects like an outer glow, for example, or a drop shadow to make it pop out a little bit more. A lot of movies, especially like if they're trying to make an older effect, like Sparta 300, even Hannibal, if you're looking into horror, they'll have bevel and emboss among the text. And you can play around with each of the sliders like within a certain style to get even more specific there. Some of them you may already know what they mean, like stroke, for example, being a border, but other ones, they may be totally new to you. So it's worth trying everything out. And this gives you a little preview of everything that you've modified right over here in the top right. You can hit OK. And if you didn't like what you did, when you right click, there's the option to, or I'm sorry, when you expand, there's the option to hide those effects and see what it was like normally. There's also a couple of options when you right click this. I just can't see them because again, my computer doesn't right click for me. So that's on you to explore with those. All right, so with that being said, these may help you out. We've already hit our layer mask requirement for this project, some fancy text effects as well, and just a couple minutes like that. So please reach out if you're having any questions. I'm gonna